everyone, this is Courageous, and I am here with a VR to Lisa Papez, hashtag Tarot FAQ, frequently asked questions about decks, crowdfunding, purchasing, and reading for clients. If you want to participate in the tag, be sure to go check out the prompts in the description box. I will link Lisa's original video as well, along with all of the questions. So let's get started. All right, so first category are deck preferences. What are your thoughts on illustrated minors versus pips? I do not like pips. That is not to say I will never like pips. I just think that I could do without them. I do have the Tarot Española, which is all pips. And Tarot Española is what is used in Dominican Republic, where my family is from. And there are no majors, and it is just pips. And then of course they have the quartz. I cannot read with these yet. That is not to say that I never will, but this is used in the spiritual practice that I partake in, which is the 21 divisions of Dominican Voodoo. And this is basically used for, them to communicate with us. And when you get the sight, you can see everything clearly. You understand what everything means. I don't have that yet, but hopefully soon. I do know what certain things mean. Like this, for example, means this is your house. And obviously swords are bad in any sense of divination, right? Well, I think in Lenormand, they're good, but swords anywhere are pretty bad. And then cups happy, cups good, cups emotional. But other than that, give me my illustrated minors. One of my pet peeves are decks that are half pips and half illustrated. Like, don't confuse me with that. Just give me all or give me none. Like, decide. And I feel like, that's kind of like a cop out. Like, oh, I saw one that I wanted to buy, and then I'm looking and then I finally find the post, like the picture with all of the minors, and there are like 2 people in all of the minors, not including the quartz, and then everything else is pips. I'm just give me the pip, just make it pip. All right, that was too long of a response for that. All right, how do you feel about keywords on decks? I don't mind keywords on decks. There's actually one deck that I've had my eye on that has keywords, and I love it. I think it's beautiful. The 2 cent tarot. And worse comes to worse, I can always ignore it, So, but I don't mind keywords on decks. How do you feel about borders? I think border when necessary. I have the Everyday Enchantment tarot, and these cards were huge as is. All right, it's my hand. They're huge as is, and then you have these huge borders. Like, I get that they're color coded by the suit. The majors have black. I trimmed the borders, and I just kept the bottom one because I do need the names. But this right there would have been perfect. You can still have the color, so I know this is still the swords. The cups are blue. It's like we didn't need all of that. The Numinous Tarot does that naturally, right? We have the color border on the bottom, and everything else is borderless. I think that's great. But I definitely think that people should stick to smaller borders, creators. The Dark Mansion Tarot has borders, and they're small. I don't like them. I don't like them too big, too wide, taking up more space than the actual image of the pictures. Next question is, what makes you decide to modify a deck? So I'm new to the modification game, but thank you Boho Tarot for her for your playlist on how to modify decks. I'm not brave enough to edge a deck yet. I simply do not want to ruin a deck. I know I just know I will. But like I said, I did modify the Everyday Enchantment Tarot. I trimmed the borders. I also have the Strawberry Tarot that I also trimmed the borders off of, and I made it borderless. It had the bigger black, and this wasn't a big deck to begin with, but the problem was, this was an indie deck, and the problem was that like you can still see the cards were not all the same size. So then some of the black borders were bigger than others. And it was just a distraction. So in effort to try to make it at least closer to the same size, which I still couldn't, but at least it's easier to, it's closer to being the same size. So what makes me want to modify a deck? The borders. If it's too big, this was just too big for me to shuffle, and I love this deck. It's beautiful, but it was too big for me to shuffle, so the borders had to go. Other than that, I am not brave enough to do anything else. Dawn Michelle at Boho Tarot she has a playlist how to do the borders. I bought the guillotine that she recommended. I bought the paper the corner rounder that she recommended, and my first, these are my first and second and only so far modifications came out beautifully thanks to her. One day, if I am brave enough to edge a deck, I might do it on the Strawberry Tarot, only because, again, the deck is already imperfect. So I can't do much more. Well, I can mess up the images, but I will be willing to experiment on this one if I decide to edge a deck. Next one, what kind of cardstock is your favorite? All right, that one's easy. This is Tarot of the Divine, and I don't know what type of cardstock this is, but I love it. I don't know if you can try to make it so that you can see. It's like a little texture on here. The cardstock is the perfect thickness, and it shuffles. It's beautiful. The cards don't stick together, and it's just, I don't know, like I feel like it, like I want you to see the texture on this. It's just the best. I feel like I'm going to add the second part of that question, which is what is my least favorite cardstock, and that is whatever they used to make the Everyday Enchantment and the Dark Mansion. I don't know what it's called. I don't know card. I'm not a paper connoisseur, but whatever this is, it's beautiful. It's nice and smooth, but the cards stick together so much. It's just, and this is the larger edition. Cost me $89. Well, it cost my husband $89. But the cards, no matter how much I try to break it in, like it's still a little bit of a hassle to kind of take them apart. And I don't use this for readings much because of that, because I just feel like it would interrupt. So I use this more. I use this more for other things, but this cardstock I can do without forever and ever. And even the Everyday Enchantment, I feel like it has that same problem. Not as much, but I do feel like the cards do stick together. But Tarot of the Divine, beautiful, beautiful cardstock. Okay, so next category is buying and backing decks. So where do you go to look for new decks you may want to buy? YouTube. Tarot Oracle and Papa Squirrel, I love them for keeping me in the loop as to what is coming in the tarot sphere. They do regular videos on what's coming, what's new in the world of tarot, and I go from there. And I go, I see, oh, I like that. And I'll go and I'll find it wherever they mention, because the Tarot Oracle goes through Amazon, goes through Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and then I know to go from there. I am subscribed to Kickstarter, so I do get the regular emails as well. And then sometimes I just go in, and occasionally I just go in and I search tarot, and that's where I find decks. What has been your best and worst Kickstarter / crowdfunding experience? I haven't had a best or worst. I've had experiences as expected. So I've only backed. I've backed two. I've backed the Threadbound Oracle by Cedar McLeod of the Numinous Tarot. And that I got regular updates, regular emails, and I got my product as expected. And now I've backed tarot. I forget which one it was, but it was based on, I guess, Drag Race, and that one I get regular emails, regular updates. The funding just closed, so hopefully I get it in December as expected. So nothing out of the ordinary there. How do you decide what decks you want to buy or back? So I decide to back decks. One, I have to be drawn to the art. Just has to call to me. But two, I like to see what's on there. Like, I need to see the art. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna back something blindly. I may love your project, but if I like it, especially as a writer, I know what's in my head and what actually comes out can be completely different things. So I definitely need to see the art. So I decide to back based on the art. And what art am I expecting? I'm expecting something, that is inclusive, that is, by inclusive, I mean inclusive of race, cultures, genders, body types, ages, abilities, all of these things, or if it has like a specific theme that's still inclusive. Like I don't like medieval decks or anything, but I definitely need inclusivity, and I need to see your majors, because that's how I decide to buy a deck, any deck, Kickstarter or anything. If I see a walkthrough and I get to the Lovers card and I have not seen a Black person, I'm not buying your deck. I'm sorry. I am Black. I am a Black Latinx woman, and if I don't see anyone who looks like me and I've gone to number 6, I'm in the major arcana, I'm not buying it. So that's why I need to see it, because if I don't see any, I bought the Tarot of the Divine without. I pre-ordered it on Amazon. They didn't have a lot of images, but the images I did see, it was the moon card. I'm not Asian, obviously, but I still know that included representation, and it wasn't all white. So, and I don't mind backing anything, as long as it's not all white. I'm sorry. You can do whatever, but I'm not gonna back it. So I need to see images, and I definitely need to see some color. And how much is too much to spend on a deck? Depends. On Kickstarter, depends on how all the goodies it comes with. Because obviously we're getting more by backing it on Kickstarter. So I personally do not want to spend over $60 on a deck, no matter where it's from. On the last, like I said, on the Drag Race Tarot, it came out to $56 $56 or $58. And that's including shipping. And they unlocked a lot of upgrades. So I'm getting 22 major arcana stickers with that. I'm getting a tarot bag. So, you know, I'm getting well worth more than my $58 that I'm spending. My husband bought me the Dark Mansion Tarot, and with shipping and everything, you know, with shipping and the deck, he paid $99. He paid it. He offered to buy it because I was looking at it and I loved the Dark Mansion. Like this was like up my alley. I studied Victorian literature, so that is my my area of specialization in English literature. So the Dark Mansion Tarot was just there for me, but I was not going to spend $89. I wasn't, and he bought it. That was too much for me, but I took it. Next, do you have deal breaker cards? Cards that have to feel right for you to pull the trigger on a deck? Yes. I have to see the Nine of Cups, the Hermit. The Nine of Cups is my absolute favorite card. I just love, this is from the Tarot of the Divine. I love, it's kind of like this trickster, right? A male dressed as a female to try to seduce. Like, I don't remember the story behind it, but I think they had to, like, this one kind of seduced the woman by dress. Obviously there's some issues there, but or maybe they were sneaking. I don't know, but just look at how happy they all look in this Nine of Cups. But I need to see the Nine of Cups. This is from the Numinous Tarot. Look how happy they look. Just look at how happy they look. It's goals. It's goals. I need to see the Nine of Cups. I need to see the Hermit card. The Hermit card will be an absolute deal breaker for me if you do not have a good Hermit card. This is from the Tarot of the Divine. I just think this I don't know what is that, a stag? It's just so regal and kind of mysterious. This kind of reminds me of like a Patronus. Yes. But it's also like, I just need the Hermit to be in search, an isolation and in search of just greater things. Like, I'm constantly in Hermit mode. I need to be like this Hermit here in the Dark Mansion, surrounded by books. That's me. That's my Hermit mode. Because when I lock myself up, it's you know, I isolate myself, but I'm in search of knowledge and wisdom, in constant pursuit. And I just love the beard. So the Hermit card, the Nine of Cups, not so much, but can be the Devil card. This is from the Numinous Tarot. It is shadow. The shadow and also my shadow card based on my birth, my life path number, which is 6. The Lovers, I can give or take. I did the VR to myself in tarot, where I go into the Lovers and my life path number. But the Devil card I really connect to, and I definitely need to see a really good Devil. And lastly, another deal breaker is the Emperor, because of my personality type. I really identify with the Emperor, and I know I may not look it, but I am very strict. I tell my students all of the time, and it's just like, I know I'm nice and all of that, but I have my rules and you have to follow them, or there will be consequences. And I say it just like that. So they may be tested to try test those boundaries, but they'll learn soon enough. So I really identify with the Emperor, and that can definitely be a deal breaker for me. And last deal breakers are the King and Queen of Swords. Depending on the situation, I am either the Queen or the King. Mostly I'm the King, but I feel like when needed, I bring out the Queen, a little bit more ruthless. but this is the King of Swords from the Numinous Tarot, and it's just beautiful. There's just so much. There's so much. This card is everything. But definitely, I really identify with the Queen of Swords from the Dark Mansion. Just like, yeah, like you can see she's clenching her fingers, right? Give me the patience not to just slice your head off right now for your ridiculousness. That's me a lot. But a lot of the times I'm also the the King of Swords. So those are my deal breakers. That's the long and long of it. Next category is reading style. Do you have a daily tarot practice? If not, when do you read for yourself? So I do have a daily tarot practice. I have my morning ritual that I have to follow as part of my spiritual practice, and I call it Meegypt. So meditation, exercise, journaling, yoga, prayer, and tarot. Not in that order. I get up very early in the morning and I spend like 15 to 20 minutes praying to all of my laws and my guides and stuff, and of course to God. And then I do pull an oracle card. I use the Rain Coast Oracle, and that is what I use to kind of like guide my journaling for that day, or just to keep in mind for that day. So let's say like the Rain Coast Oracle is just beautiful. I saw this. See, this is how I decide where to buy decks. I found this, I saw Simon at the Hermit's Cave do a walkthrough, and I had to get it. So I got it, and I use it daily to guide my self-care and my journaling. When else do I read for myself? Whenever I need something answered. That's basically it. What is your go-to shuffle style? So go-to shuffle, I just do hand over hand. So what I do when I start, when I start shuffling, I do riffle shuffle first. So I just split the deck wherever I feel like it. And then I only do the top part. I can't do the bend it and let it go under. Let me see if I can do it. So I can riffle shuffle, but I can't kind of like do the top part. But I'll riffle shuffle a couple of times, however I feel necessary, and then I just do hand over hand. Hand over hand. How do you choose which deck you're going to work with? So it depends on what it is, of course. Right? The answer is always it depends. But I feel like depending on the nature of the question, depending on my mood, depending on what it is, I do have go-to decks for reading for clients. So if I'm reading for a client, I read with more than one deck. I don't read with just one deck, because sometimes a card wants to show up more than once. And if there's only one card in the deck, how can it? So I do have decks that are specifically that I use for readings all of the time. So I will use, right now, I use the Numinous Tarot. I use the How to Deal Tarot for client readings. The Joie de Vivre Tarot is the best for client readings, and it is, Joie de Vivre is perfect for me for client readings. This is my go-to deck for client readings. So, and the Modern Witch Tarot. Those are for client readings, the best. And then, depending on the nature of the question, there's some decks that just want to, that they're the Queen of Swords. So if it's a question that I know I'm going to be stubborn about, I go to I was going to show you the Modern Witch Tarot. the Hermit card. Love it. Shutting down the electronics for the night, you know. But the Modern Witch Tarot for me holds no bars, right? No holds barred. Bars, no holds. So this one will give you the brutal honest truth. And again, don't let the joie de vivre fool you. The joie de vivre is very blunt. Like the joie de vivre will tell you, like, are you gonna listen to me or not? And the How to Deal Tarot. So these are the ones that I choose more when I need hard truths. And don't we always need hard truths? But for the most part, like if it's something simple that it's just like, oh, okay, I just need to know an answer. But if it's something I know I'm gonna be stubborn about and I may not want to hear it, this one is gonna tell me, you know, this one is gonna tell me whether I want to hear it or not, and it's gonna tell me in the bluntest way, like it's gonna read me for filth. And I'm not mad at it. All right, so do you purchase professional readings for yourself? Yes, of course. I always do. I love going to when people do live readings. I love getting readings from other people. I donate. Tarot Oracle does this all the time. I'm constantly in his chat, donating. Long story short, yes, I purchase professional readings for myself all of the time. I love hearing what other readers have to say, not just myself. Do you use tarot for anything other than divination? Yes. So I use it for writing my novel. I will link the video up in the card where how I use it to plot my novel. I use tarot for anything I can, really. Like anything that comes to mind to make a decision. I just love yes or no spreads, right? Like if I'm a Gemini, I'm very indecisive. And my husband laughs at me because he's just like, you have to pull the cards out to decide. Yes, decide that. I'm just like, yes, because you're not deciding for me. So I just pull out the cards and I'll do a quick yes or no. Use it for, I'll think of ways and I'll use it. I love tarot. It's great. Next category is reading for clients. How did you know you were ready to read for clients? You are never ready to read for clients, and you're always ready to read for clients. That's basically what I told myself. I still don't think I'm ready. I don't think I'm ready to teach college. I don't think I'm ready to write a book, and I'm still doing it. So you're never ready. You can't wait till you're ready, because there's never, if you do that, you'll always never be ready. So I just jumped in and I started doing it, and it's actually easier for me because I just let it go with the flow, and because I just tell myself, this is how you become readier. Do you do anything special to set up for a client reading or for yourself? So for client readings, I do have a ritual that I follow. Like I said, I practice the 21 divisions of Dominican Voodoo, and I have to invoke my spiritual team. So I have to, I have a prayer, like ritual, again, like 15 minutes of prayers, just to call them in, light them candles, and then I spread my cloth. I light the incense. So I use frankincense and myrrh so that I can call in the good spirits, leave the bad spirits off, and then I also smoke tobacco just to kind of get in there. And then once I'm done with the reading, I have to close the ceremony, tell my spirit guides, thank you, and you're on your way. And then what I receive, I give a portion of that in offerings to my guides. So that is why I consider it very important to charge, because I'm not the one it's not only going to me, this is going to them. And this is also, just kind of helping them help me more. It's like, oh, well, we're gonna get something out of this. But not only that, it's just by giving to them, you're opening the door for more abundance and blessings. So that is my ritual for them. For myself, again, I don't really read for myself in terms of like these in-depth readings. I just do small mini readings, and that's just more based on my intuition. I don't call them in for that. Like they'll probably be like, you're calling us in for this? Really? Like you can't figure this out yourself? They will give me a lashing, tongue lashing, like, you really? Next question is, do you let a client handle your cards, aka do you shuffle and ask them to draw and cut, have them shuffle, or do you do it all? So if they're here, if they're present, I let them cut, and I tell them to cut 3 times with the right hand. If they're not here, then I do everything. Are there any questions you would refuse to answer for a client? Well, yeah. First of all, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not, so there are those questions. I can give them energy readings based off of that, but I'm never going to answer. Like I tell them, I'm not going to tell you when you're going to die. I'm not going to tell you like when you're going to meet, the love of your life. When you're going to have kids. Like I can only give you the energy to prepare for that. But let's see. Do you have any advice for people who want to start reading professionally? Just do it. Learn your craft, practice your craft. But at the end of the day, like, hello, I've never written a novel before. I'm writing a novel, and it's hard. It's hard. But am I going to not write the novel and learn how to write the novel? No, I'm going to start writing it, and then, gain the experience, gain my footing, and gain my confidence. And watch the videos. I watch a lot of tarot tubers videos. I'm constantly still learn the system. Read the guidebooks. Like my favorite guidebook right now is from the Shadowland Tarot. I love this book. Read, learn, but jump in and do it. I got started, like when I first started tarot, like I started tarot a long time ago, inadvertently. I bought a used Rider-Waite Smith deck at like a garage sale, and I started reading, and this is how I would read. I would throw the cards out, and I would have the book right there. So I would, read for my friends and family, and I would just throw the cards, and then here's the guide. I would just say, okay, judgment, and I would just go read what judgment means, right? Read what it means, and then tell them, and then kind of, put everything together, and it would work. Like, all of my readings were accurate. The cards that need to come out will come out. So it's not like, it's not like you have to like be able to pull. I don't pull, like throw cards like this. I shuffle, and the cards that I read are the cards that pop out. So the 2 of Cups, the 5 of Coins pops out. That's the card that I'm reading, because that's the card that needs to come out. So the message will come. It's just your delivery of the message will improve. So if you want to start reading professionally, like I said, if you feel weird, because I know one of the things that stopped me for a long time was, well, I'm like, oh, I can only read with the book. Well, don't give face-to-face readings. Maybe, take a picture of the reading and then type it out. Or give recorded readings after, and look at the cards first, look at the message, and then tell them what's in front of you, right? In front of the cards. But just get your feet wet and get started. So that has been my #tarot FAQ VR to Lisa Papez. If you want to participate, the prompts are in the description box. Excuse me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. This is Courajess. Peace.